Hey friends, I've just returned from 2 weeks in Bali, one of my favourite places to go. I go every single year. And this particular trip was part holiday and part business. There was some days spent searching for a retreat venue for my mastermind retreat happening in March or April next year. And we have a shortlist now, which is amazing. And also part holiday. And I was really, really desperately needing some white space. I've just come out of a very busy first quarter where I've had the biggest cohort of students inside of Ecom Ads Academy and a full mastermind. So I've come away from back-to-back Zoom calls for the past 10 weeks and was really, really craving some of that space and time to reflect and get inspired and get those creative juices flowing. And it didn't quite happen the way that I thought. I'm always advocating for people to take a step away from their business to get those insights and get those downloads and get those new ideas. But for me, this particular trip wasn't about the creative juices flowing, so to speak, but highlighting parts of my business that need to change and evolve. And I want to share with you a little bit about this lesson because it was quite painful. There was even tears on the last day of my holiday where I was like, I can't keep doing business the way I'm doing this. And I came home questioning, do I want to keep doing this business? Would I prefer to go and work for a tech company in Sydney down the road? Like, you know, I guess not an existential crisis as such, but questioning things. And I realized that for many business owners, all the different seasons we go through, you've probably experienced this too, where you're like, oh my gosh, this feels so hard and so heavy. And I had this, in my case, this lovely 2 weeks off to try and reset and recalibrate, and it just didn't happen. So I want to share with you exactly the lessons that came up for me and to see whether or not these resonate with you. So for context, before I went away, I had arranged support coaches to deliver the coaching calls in my absence. I'd set up all of the out of office notifications, all those kind of things. I'd explained to my clients in my mastermind that, you know, I'm offline, if there's any emergencies, where to get support, right? So I'd sort of felt like I'd done some of the foundational groundwork to set the scene for me to go away. I also had my VA schedule all the emails and she was looped in and all those sort of things. And I was like, surely I can go away, feeling fairly unscathed. But I think the problem really was that already I was going onto this holiday feeling a little bit frazzled, given busy quarter, all of the different things that have happened, you know, even in the last 6 months, just feeling like quite frazzled. So I probably already wasn't in this sort of great headspace where I wasn't feeling particularly resilient, where I did feel quite emotional. The emotions were heightened, and any small problem felt like a ginormous problem in my world. So going into the holiday, I was hoping I was going to overcome that. And from the very first day that I arrived, you know, there was opening the inbox to fires to be, you know, addressed. And I realized that this is kind of business, right? This is what business looks like always. Even if you have customers or clients that are aware that you're away, business still needs to be run. But in my business right now, for full transparency, there is myself as the chief everything officer. I have one VA, overseas VA, who probably does maybe about 5 hours a week. And I have 2 support coaches who come and do some of the calls with me and even host calls without me and also act as emotional support. But as a multi-6-figure business that is growing year on year on year, it's probably not enough. I don't have any customer service support. I manage all of my own scheduling and all of the different things. I've also got this podcast, and there was also, as a business owner, I'm sure you can relate, this need for creating content and things like that. My current business in its current form doesn't allow for any breathing room for me to think, I can't wait to deliver this awesome podcast episode, which is why they're often a bit disjointed and not always consistent. So sorry. But yeah, so for me, it was like this problem where I probably didn't have the right levels of support to take my business to the next stage and to be able to fully enjoy my business wasn't really a problem that I was aware of until I tried to step out of the business. So this was quite insightful. It wasn't necessarily that people were being awful or anything like that. It was just business as usual, but I didn't have the support in place to help me to be able to switch off. So that was really interesting. And I didn't have that full revelation till the very end. Rather, for 2 weeks, I went through all of the emotions, thinking about maybe this business isn't right for me. Maybe I would enjoy working back in corporate again. I'm always having a little peek on some of the big tech companies' websites and their positions, sort of going in all these different directions. Or maybe I should shift and do coaching just for all businesses and just not e-commerce, or whatever it was, right? I went in 15 different directions before I realized maybe I just need a bit more help in my business. And I'm investigating, or I believe that it might look like, in my case, an OBM, an online business manager, which is like a step up from a VA who will help, I'm hoping, handle, curly customer service, my systems and calendar, and will help manage the VA and things like that. So right now, for me, that looks like the most obvious solution versus quitting my business and going getting a job, right? Sometimes it could be something completely different. Sometimes it could be that you're serving the wrong person, depending on what sort of business you have. Maybe you're attracting the wrong type of customer. I know even in my fashion brand, even the price of products, like the cheaper products, we would always find ourselves attracting the most difficult customers. So maybe there needs to be a shift in that particular case, right? So all these dilemmas are going through my mind and possible solutions, and I'm already feeling a bit frazzled. I actually had a Reiki treatment when I was in Bali. I found a lady online who came to the villa and did Reiki, and it was amazing. I did this on about day 3 or 4 of my trip, and it did definitely help reset me, but only then continued to get more curly customer service emails and so on and so forth. I think for me, the icing on the cake was the very last day, where all of a sudden it seems Facebook has removed the flexible ad format from most accounts, and my DMs and inbox got flooded from students of One Ad Wonder going, help, I can't find the flexible button. And I was like, you know what? I can't take it anymore. I can't take it. But at the time where I was catastrophizing and jumping to the worst possible solution, and my husband trying to talk me off a ledge, is that, I think these challenges come up in business all the time. These existential crises in our business happen pretty frequently, and it depends on what's been going on. For me, in the last 6 months, or even last 12 months, my business has grown significantly. We've been through a major renovation of about $650,000 worth of building works. I lost my beautiful little Momo, my little Chihuahua dog. My kids have not flown the nest, but got their licenses and don't need me. So there's all these sort of big things happening around me, on top of being busy and in business and wanting a break. So I was already coming in to the holiday feeling frazzled. Also, for anyone that is going through perimenopause, the same thing, the waves of emotions and hormones and everything that goes with it. Some days you feel great, other days you're like, I just want to sit on the couch and watch Netflix. So, I guess the baseline wasn't great, and this Reiki treatment helped give me some tools and help reset me at the time, but it just continued. But for me, like I said, I love my business so much. I really do. And I see the impact it has on my clients and my students. I love teaching. I love coaching. I love what I do. I don't think I'll get the same joy doing a corporate job again. I won't certainly have the same flexibility. I certainly won't be able to go to Bali probably every year for 2 weeks with my husband on top of any other travel and trips that we do. So, and I guess as a coach, I'm programmed to think about all of the possible different solutions and then challenge each of those options and solutions. And it's like, well, is this the best solution? Is this not the best solution? So long story short, I've come home realizing that my business has shifted. It's grown, and that growth looks like I'm going to need some more support if I want to continue to be the leader and the coach and be able to have that white space, the thinking space, the creative space to continue marketing my business and continue to make my programs better, to continue showing up in a less frazzled way from my clients. So this rather hard-hitting lesson that didn't fully land until I returned is that with every different stage of business, with even every season, there will be different challenges which make us question everything and whether we are on the right track. And sometimes the solution is quite small. And sometimes the solution is really exciting. Like in my case, the thought of having an assistant or an OBM to help me is really exciting actually, because as an online business owner, it can be quite lonely. So someone to share that with, I think would be amazing and makes me feel really motivated again. So if you are feeling like everything's heavy, everything's hard, everything's a struggle, I hope this episode's been helpful to you, because the solution might be fairly straightforward. I also want to remind you that every single year in your business, regardless of whether it's an e-commerce business or a coaching business, there will be months that are difficult, whether that means slower sales, whether that means a time of year that lots of people ask to leave or cancel their agreements, whether that is your ads costing a lot of money. If you go back and check what was happening last year, you might find that these similar challenges are just a seasonal occurrence. Thank you so much for listening to my little TED talk today. And I hope this was helpful. I hope this was insightful. And I hope it gives you more optimism and gives you some more encouragement to go through those tough times and try and take a step back, try and get more perspective and see where in your business that maybe some improvements can be made so that things feel lighter and more abundant for you. Until next week, thank you for being here, and I will chat with you again very soon. Bye for now. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Online Store Success with me, Jody Minto. If you loved it, please share it with your friends on Instagram and tag me at @IamJodyMinto so I can say thank you. And if you really want to make my day, please go ahead and leave me a review on Apple Podcasts and give me a follow. If you'd like my help in starting or scaling your online store, be sure to check out my free resources and programs at jodyminto.com. Thanks again, and same time, same place next week. Bye for now.